This is Out of the Box with your host, Jonathan Clark. Out of the Box, Sunday nights at 9 on Q1043.
He is the ageless Lenny Kravitz, and he joins us now. We're going to talk about his fantastic memoir called Let Love Rule. And just like Billy Idol's memoir had to be called Dancing with Myself, Lenny's had to be called Let Love Rule. We're going to get to all that in a second. But Lenny, the first question I have for you is, did you ever successfully learn and play an Eddie Van Halen guitar solo, or did you not even try?
What's the song I learned in high school? Ain't Talking About Love. That one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your thoughts on Eddie really quick.
Genius, innovator, pioneer. You know, he took the guitar at that time to a place only he could take it. And, you know, it says a lot when an artist is able to actually invent his own style, you know? And he did just that and was the master of it. And, you know, not only his guitar playing, but his songwriting, his performing. He was an amazing showman as well. He was fun. You always got joy watching Eddie Van Halen. Even though he was playing, you know, very technical, superior stuff, it never seemed like he was ever trying to put it above your head, you know? He went straight to people's hearts. So, you know, I can't say enough wonderful things about him.
Did your paths ever cross over the years?
Yeah, we played a few years ago. We both played at the same festival. I can't remember where it was, but he wasn't able to come to my show, but I was able to go to his. And so I ran over, just made it before they started, and he gave me a spot on the side of the stage by his guitar tech sitting on a case. And, you know, I watched the show, and that's the last time I saw him.
Lenny Kravitz is with us. His new memoir is Let Love Rule. You know, we last spoke face-to-face in Tribeca in a studio, actually in the same room, but that was for the Raise Vibration
album. Which studio?
iHeart Studios in Tribeca.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was for the Raise Vibration album, which is fantastic. But now we have to Zoom, which is fine, but I can't wait till we, you know, be seeing you live in concert and, you know, interviewing you in an actual studio where we're face to face.
Oh, thank you. Well, you could have come here and sat on the porch with me, man.
Look, listen, don't say that. I might take you up on that. I could need some Bahamas action right now. But Let Love Rule, that is an important title because not only was that the first song that introduced you to the world pretty much back in 1989, but it also indicates, and I'm sure you know this, and I'm sure this is sort of one of the inspirations for the book, a majority of several strong women, mostly women, you know, gave you a lot of love as you were growing up. I mean, obviously your mother, Roxy, her parents, and then at last count, I think I counted 5 or so godmothers that included Diane Carroll and Cicely Tyson.
Yes. I was very fortunate to be raised by several different beautiful, strong, intelligent, soulful Black women that nurtured me in so many ways. The men were great too, but I was a mama's boy, and I liked being around these ladies. I felt loved. I felt seen. You know, I felt understood to some respect, and you know, it was just wonderful to watch them maneuver through their lives. They were all doing incredible things, and as well as doing these incredible things and changing the world and putting all this beautiful art out into the world, they were also taking care of their families as well. So this example of strong Black women was monumental to me. Yeah.
You brought back some great memories for me. I'm speaking to you now from the Upper West Side, but I know you spent time, across the park on the Upper East Side growing up,
Yes.
also in Brooklyn, and then in the Bahamas as well, where you are right now, actually, and also you mentioned a lot the 48th Street and all the guitar stores there, which was a complete fantasy for any guitar player to go down there and just stare in the window and maybe be lucky enough to buy a guitar. And then, of course, Los Angeles, going to Tower Records on Sunset, which is no longer there.
And getting busted.
Right, exactly. I was extremely jealous, too, when I read that your father's place on the Upper East Side went for $350 a month.
Man, this was in one of those beautiful Beaux-Arts buildings. The building itself is now worth, millions, and 20s and 30s and 40s of millions, whatever it is. I don't even know. But it was a beautiful block to grow up on. It had beautiful buildings on it. And of course, the thing that was really great was that the Metropolitan Museum of Art, was at the end of the block. And that was like my fun house,
There are countless stories in the book, and I don't want to give them all away, but a few stand out. But let's mention your mom, Roxy Roker, African-American Caribbean, an accomplished actor from theater, also other shows, and everybody knows about the Jeffersons and the movies. Your father, Cy Kravitz, Russian Jewish background. He was an NBC producer. And first of all, I was extremely jealous when you told the story of them going downtown to a jazz club to see Coltrane play.
Right.
I mean, God, how lucky were they?
When I got older and I really understood who all these people were, it was always so great to hear my parents telling these stories where they would be on one street for the entire evening. They'd go from club to club and they'd be seeing everybody, all of the pioneers. You see Charlie Parker, you see this one, you see that one, you see, and that must have just been an incredible time where you could see the people that shaped music for the planet, and they'd all be on a block on, playing where you could go catch them, doing their sets,
Right. It was maybe like 52nd
we,
Street or something like that, probably, right?
Yeah, exactly. We unfortunately don't have that opportunity today like that, but that must have been an incredible time for music and live music.
Yeah, and you could actually get into the show to see them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like insane. You had a wonderful relationship with your mom, Roxy. Good times and bad times. She was always there for you. She took you to see James Brown at the Apollo, which must have just blown your mind.
It did. At that age, I think I was about 7. And we went uptown to the Apollo. She had 2 tickets. She took me. It was just the 2 of us. And it made such a monumental impression on me. Just being in that room. And it was just, it was humid, and it was, the colors were rich. It was like magentas and rusts and, burnt oranges and purples, and everything was just incredible. And, the band was so tight and so funky. You had Bootsy Collins on bass. James comes out in his jumpsuit, and it was a lesson. It was an education.
And another defining moment for you, your relationship with your father was a little bit more complicated than with your mother. Obviously, you go into that in the book, but your dad somehow managed to get 2 ridiculous seats to see the Jackson 5 at Madison Square Garden. And he took these photos, which are amazing because they publish them in the book. And it's so funny. You guys were like 5th row. I don't know how close you were.
Right.
But you see the NYPD in their old uniforms and their hats,
sitting on the edge of the stage, and if you look, you see that the house lights aren't out. You know, the house lights are on, and you know, the cops were like, you know, it was like on the same level as the Beatles. You know, I mean, the girls and the kids were, you know, trying to get up on stage and touch them, and so yeah, they had that whole wall of New York City police, you know, guarding the stage.
They hadn't thought of the pit yet with the security guys.
Yeah, they didn't have the barrier yet.
Another highlight for me, it was your birthday. Your parents took you to the Rainbow Room. Duke Ellington picked you up and serenaded you from the orchestra with Happy Birthday.
Yeah, well, when I sat on his lap, it was during sound check. Actually, he was doing his thing, and they sat me on his lap, and he, you know, he put his arms around, he played, and I was sitting right there watching, and that was very exciting. Of course, I couldn't comprehend at that age who this man was, but I loved his music. I already knew the music. I knew A-Train, you know, as a small child. And then during the performance, yeah, they played Happy Birthday, and his saxophonist by the name of Paul Gonzalez walked up to our table and played the head, you know, played the melody, and right in my face. And that was my 5th birthday at the Rainbow Room.
Unbelievable. You know? You moved to LA with your mom when she got the gig on the Jeffersons. There are so many bizarre parallels about your life, your parents, her role on that show, and what that show was about. It's really amazing if you think about it.
Yeah, you know, the fact that she was chosen to represent her actual situation was pretty uncanny, you know. In fact, when she got the part, Norman Lear sat her down and wanted to make sure that she'd be comfortable. This is 1975, okay? You know, I just want you to understand you're going to have to hug this man, kiss this man, be close with this man, you know, and are you comfortable with that? You know, as a Black woman, I'm sure he's asking her. And she went in her wallet, and of course, back in the day, you had that plastic thing that held all the photographs in your wallet, and she, you know, the photos fell out, and she showed him my father and said, "That's my husband." And I think they both had a laugh, and she got the part.
Unbelievable. While in LA, 3 other things happened too. Someone played you Led Zeppelin for the first time. You also discovered skateboarding, and you also discovered weed.
Well, it was, you know, it was really great to be moving around in my childhood where I got to see scenes started, you know, like in New York, seeing this Black underground theater scene and seeing all of these musicians that I saw that were coming onto the scene. And then I go out to LA in 75, and then, you know, I'm there for the birth of Dogtown Z-Boys and all that, you know. And yes, that is where I discovered Led Zeppelin for the first time when I was ditching school. Well, I wasn't ditching. I think it was lunchtime. And the kid had the boombox, and we listened to it, and I smoked my first joint, and everything came together. At that
What was
moment.
the song? What was the song?
Black Dog.
Oh yeah,
that's a good tune to get high to for the first time.
Oh yeah, and well, it's a good tune to get high to, and also be high for, because sometimes you don't get high right away. You know, sometimes you have to. Like, I remember the first time I knew that I was high. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I was listening to the Doors, Texas radio and the Big Beat, and Jim Morrison's voice like scared me. But anyway, you went to Beverly Hills High. Nicolas Cage / Maria McKee were also there, but that school was really instrumental in your musical development.
Yeah, it's where I really started jamming with people, and I started to try to find my expression. I had just left the California Boys Choir, and I'd had that whole classical experience for 3 years, and here I was in high school now, ready to find my way. Of course, I moved out while I was in high school, went out into the streets and began my journey, and yeah, that was the road to discovering myself. Absolutely.
And it from the outside
And
looking
also
in.
seeing and experiencing things that I hadn't experienced in New York City. LA was a completely different animal.
Well, yeah, you had to have a car to get around, right? I mean, you couldn't
Oh yeah.
really jump on a
Well,
subway, right?
or
I mean,
get on the bus, which I did. I took the bus, I took the RTD. But yeah, it wasn't easy. It wasn't like New York where a kid could just jump on a bus or a subway.
right.
Absolutely not.
And
You were dependent upon adults to really take you around if you had to go any distance.
right, yeah.
And there were no people on the streets, which
yeah,
completely bugged me out. I didn't understand that.
and there still aren't, I don't think. Maybe more people are walking in LA. I don't know, but that is a great song, "Walking in LA," actually. But from the outside looking in, it seems like a charmed life, almost Forrest Gumpish. But at times, you were sleeping in a car, no cash, no money,
Mhm.
sleeping on people's couches.
I did whatever I had to do, couches, floors, cars, whatever, Um, and I enjoyed it. Look, I put myself in a position. I didn't have to leave home. I chose to leave home. And, I was fine with all of this because I was out there. I was learning. I was meeting people. I was hustling. I was free to explore. Um, and so I didn't mind if I had to go through that. I'm glad that I did. It was one of the best experiences of my life.
You met Lisa Bonet. She became your muse for the "Let Love Rule" album. She directed the video for that song in Central Park, I think, right?
Yes, yes. She is a visionary and, has amazing aesthetics and, was my partner through all that. And yeah, we did it together. It was magical.
And she gave you your wonderful daughter, Zoe, who has been doing really cool things now for
Mhm.
years as an actor. On your first promo tour for "Let Love Rule," 1989, you just happened to be in Germany when the Berlin Wall was coming down. Again,
Yes.
Forrest Gump.
Yeah. My grandfather was on the bus with me. He was touring with me at that time. I loved taking him and showing him the world. He'd been some places, but he hadn't traveled that extensively through Europe like that. And or maybe that was his first time at that point. But anyway, yeah, we were driving down the street and we see part of the wall and all these guys out there, just partying and with these sledgehammers and knocking this thing down. And it was actually my grandfather who said, "Stop the bus, like stop." And we got out and we witnessed it. And he actually got up there and grabbed a piece of the wall to bring back with him to his house. He was very much into history, and that was just obviously a monumental and historical time when the wall came down, and it's a wonderful memory that we have, together.
Lenny Kravitz is with us, his new memoir, "Let Love Rule." And like every great cliffhanger, Lenny, the last line of your book says, "To be continued."
Yeah, well, I wanted to stop there. This book is about someone finding their voice and finding their destiny and knowing which door to walk through and the whole adventure that went around that. And I didn't want this book to be about stardom or fame or anything like that. And so I stopped there, and I want to live a little bit more of life before I begin even thinking about the next one. But writing this book was a really great experience for me, and I got things from this experience that I didn't expect. A lot of healing and understanding. And so when the time comes, I'll dive into the next one.
What about music? Have you been able to record a lot or write a lot during this?
I just came
lockdown?
from the studio now to talk to you. I just left the studio. So I've been in the studio working on an album, and I look forward to putting some material out soon.
Did you have a tour booked for this year?
I was in the middle of a world tour. I'd already gone almost, I think, 2 years through. But yes, I was headed to New Zealand and Australia, and that never happened. So here I am in the Bahamas, and it's wonderful to be here. Not at the expense of, I'm sorry, it's at the expense of people being sick and people's lives. But I'm here. This is where I was when the whole thing shut down. I came here for 5 days, and it's been 7.5 months. So
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Do you have a tentative tour booked even for 2021?
No, nothing yet. Don't know when and how and what, it's going to happen. But when it does, and it's safe, and the world is opened back up to people being in arenas and stadiums, I'll be back.
You must miss playing live though, right?
I do. But I love the studio. The studio is my favorite place. And so at least I've got that. And it's magical being able to make new music. It always is.
Are you a New York or a California resident?
Neither.
Neither?
No,
not as far as where you live, but I know you were born in New York, right?
Oh, I was born in New York City. Yes, I was born in New York, but this is where I live, and here now, and I live in the world, man. Wherever I am, I'm home.
Well, the reason I ask that is I'm just wondering if you are voting.
Oh, I in fact did this morning.
And did you vote in New York as a mail-in or California?
I don't know, Florida.
Oh, Florida. Oh, okay.
That's where my home was before I moved out.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it's Florida.
So you did the mail-in action?
So normally I'm in Florida, in Miami, and I wait online and go to that school that I've been voting at for years, but
right.
I'm here. So yeah, I did my ballot.
Fantastic. Well, Lenny,
everybody get out there and vote.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to do mine today over on the Upper West Side. But everyone needs to go get this book, Let Love Rule by Lenny Kravitz. It's fantastic. And he told us he's got new music coming soon. So we look forward to that. And Lenny, what I can't wait for is to see you on a stage in New York City, just melting faces again, man.
Thank you. I can't wait to go back to the Garden.
Thank you, Lenny.
So I'll see you there.
Yep. Take care, man.
All right, brother. Take care, man.
This is Out of the Box with your host, Jonathan Clark. Out of the Box, Sunday nights at 9 on Q1043.